SCP-053, also called the Young Girl, causes anyone that interacts with her to become very aggressive and attack her. SCP-999, on the other hand, is the friendliest creature in the Foundation, and 999 has never harmed anyone. So what would happen if the two SCPs met? Would SCP-999 attack the girl? In this video, we try to answer this question. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and soon we are exploring more interesting SCP experiments like this one. To begin with, let's quickly remind ourselves of both creatures' properties. SCP-053 is a small girl that is capable of speech and seems to be slightly above average in mental development. On first glance, 053 appears to behave normally. She has a pleasant personality and only becomes agitated when in the presence of large groups of people. However, her anomalous properties manifest in the fact that any human who physically touches, makes eye contact with, or remains around her for more than 10 minutes will rapidly become paranoid and aggressive. As a result, he or she will attack and terminate all people in the vicinity, after which they will attack 053 herself. However, upon trying, this person will suffer a heart attack and perish in seconds. Should any damage be dealt to SCP-053, the girl will regenerate almost instantly, regardless of severity. And finally, SCP-053 is not aware of this effect and ignores all affected subjects. As for 999, the tickle monster is a large, amorphous mass of orange slime. The creature's behavior appears to be dog-like. When approached, SCP-999 will slither to that person and hug them with a pair of pseudopods while emitting high-pitched noises of excitement. But the tickle monster's main property consists in the fact that anyone who touches it experiences an immediate mild euphoria, which intensifies the more you spend time with the tickle monster, and this effect is so powerful that SCP-999 is capable of permanently curing depression and PTSD in a matter of minutes. Also, 999 is well aware of this and greatly enjoys making people happier, especially those in need. So we see why an interaction between the two would be so interesting, because they are exact opposites. SCP-053 makes people aggressive, and 999 makes people happy and friendly. So what would happen if the two SCPs met? To begin with, we have to consider the fact that SCP-053's abilities take around 10 minutes to activate. This means that before they kick in, anyone that approaches the young girl will behave as usual. And of course, we know exactly how SCP-999 normally behaves when it first meets a new person. So when we introduce the tickle monster to SCP-053's containment chamber, the girl will likely be startled at first, given SCP-999's unusual nature and relatively large size in comparison. As a result, the girl will initially avoid SCP-999, just like it did when it first met 682. However, when she sees that the tickle monster is friendly, SCP-053 will eventually approach the blob of slime out of curiosity. At this point, the girl will touch 999 and experience the usual mild euphoria. The tickle monster will continue to play with 053 as if it is playing with any ordinary girl, and in general, this interaction will be very similar to SCP-999's usual encounters. Of course, this will be very cute, almost cute enough to make us forget about 053's effects. But as we near the 10-minute mark, the girl will begin trying to remind us that she's far from ordinary. SCP-053's effects will try to make the tickle monster angry and aggressive, and 999 will try to resist, given its friendly nature. As a result, SCP-999 will probably stop tickling 053 and will move away from her, visibly confused as to what it's experiencing. And depending on how strong the girl's effect really is, we could see an SCP-999 that's beginning to act nervously, trying as hard as possible to resist the anomalous desire to attack. This is where we need to differentiate between two scenarios, both of which are plausible. To begin with, it's possible that SCP-053's effects could prove too strong to resist, even for the tickle monster. And if this is the case, then SCP-999's nervousness will slowly increase over time, to the point when the tickle monster tries to attack 053. And we think this is plausible, because SCP-999 has actually shown signs of aggression in the past. On one occasion, a sample of the tickle monster's slime was inserted in SCP-914, the machine that can upgrade or downgrade anything. The result on very fine was a small blob of slime roughly 5 inches in diameter, which was immediately hostile to all staff. And finally, when this new entity was introduced to SCP-999, the tickle monster immediately attacked and engulfed the creature, rapidly dissolving it inside its body. So it's definitely possible that under 053's effect, 999 will become aggressive once again and attack the girl. Of course, 053 is likely too big to be engulfed, so SCP-999 will try something else, for example using its pseudopods to asphyxiate 053. However, as we said, the girl can regenerate almost instantly, so the result would be an endless process where SCP-999 tries to attack 053, but to no avail. So is this the end? We've turned the friendliest creature in the Foundation into a permanently aggressive monster that wants to eliminate everyone. Well, not necessarily. This is because, as far as we know, SCP-053 can only affect people in close proximity, so if we separate the two, then the tickle monster will likely return to its friendly state. But in the end, we are talking about anomalies, so there's still a chance of permanently damaging the tickle monster. So to summarize, SCP-999 becoming aggressive is a very funny but also a potentially catastrophic scenario that's definitely plausible. But as we said in the beginning, there's another possibility. So far, we assumed that SCP-053's effects are too powerful to resist, but it's definitely possible that 999 will resist 053's effects and remain calm. After all, during the SCP-682 vs 053 experiment, the reptile did not attack as one would expect, and instead, 682 remained friendly and even allowed the girl to draw on its body using crayons. So if SCP-682 can withstand 053's effects, then the tickle monster can probably do it as well. So if SCP-999 can resist this effect, then after the 10-minute mark, the tickle monster will continue to play with 053 in the cutest way possible, as if it is playing with any ordinary girl. The scientists are going to admire the view, and sooner or later, the game of tickle wrestling will come to an end, and both SCPs will continue with their daily lives. However, the more interesting question would be what would happen after separation. As we know, given enough time, SCP-999 can permanently cure sadness, depression, and PTSD. And let's not forget that the tickle monster temporarily cured SCP-682 of its aggression, which, as we know, is one of the most hateful SCPs in the Foundation. So it's definitely possible that during the experiment, SCP-999 will permanently cure 053 of its anomalous effects, and in this case, we will have neutralized a very dangerous SCP. But in the end, we just can't say for certain what will happen. And of course, losing SCP-999 in the process is always a possibility, and because of this, the Foundation would never attempt this experiment. So what do you think? Would SCP-999 become aggressive, or will 053 be cured of its dangerous properties? Let us know in the comments. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more SCP videos.